Hello, 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 and welcome back. Oh my gosh. Is that a hair on my face or a spider? Welcome back to the What We Said podcast, everybody. I hope you're having a great... Whoa.
Sometimes I feel like I have to like make my presence known because it's like you'll go on and on and I haven't said anything for like 30 seconds and I'm just sitting here like this at the camera. So hey guys, what's up?
It's like that TikTok audio of Melania Trump when he's like, what does he say? Something and she's like, hello.
Me.
And they all look. Yeah, welcome back. Happy Tuesday. Another week gone by and another week coming up. And that's just life.
I think I'm seeing a
spider?
No, a semblance. That's not the right word. Remnants of mouth tape. Did you mouth tape last night?
No.
Oh,
okay.
There's
my
something.
mustache. Okay, we're fixed. Hopefully. What were we saying?
Gosh, that really took me off my train of thought. I don't remember.
Let's start over.
I don't know.
Is it still there?
I'm like,
you can't think of anything else? Your outfit is giving Kendall today.
Really?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
Maybe it's the hat.
I was trying to give mommy from the Mommy Confessions.
Yes, love it.
You know what? I would be lying if I said this outfit wasn't inspired by a little bit of my latest addiction.
What?
Substack.
Ooh.
So obsessed. Do you have it? Do you have that?
I don't think so.
Okay, well you would know because
I
really, really like Substack and I think I've heard whisperings that people think like Substack is getting ruined kind of because I don't know what the reasoning is. Maybe just anyone and everyone's making a Substack these days. And it used to be for more, I'm making this up, by the way. I don't know if this is the case, but it used to be for more like literature and actual, and now it's just kind of becoming a little less serious or something.
Trashy?
I don't know.
Oh.
Or just maybe more, it's not as refined or something as it once was. I'm not sure. I've heard little whisperings of that. However, I saw this thing, I think it was actually on Substack, of this girl saying, the Substack Pinterest combo will cure your brain rot from your Instagram TikTok combo that you used to do.
Okay.
And I believe that. So in my free time, it was over the weekend, I had a day where I didn't have that much going on. And, Benny's down for a nap. I'm like, I just want to actually like lay on the couch and, I don't know, rot kind of. And I went on Substack and I was just reading all these different, it's things that people are writing.
Is it like blogs?
Kind of,
or
yeah.
It's like short form?
It kind of feels like a blog.
Okay.
Some of them, it can be whatever you want. I think some of them are more short form. I've had the app for less than a week, okay? So I'm no expert. But I just was loving it. Like I already felt like my algorithm was kind of serving me what I wanted. It would be like...
What are you reading about?
A lot of like... Here are niche ways to elevate your life. Like, here's how to be a better conversationalist. Here's how the women in France dress, and that's what makes them chic. Like, things like that.
Okay.
Where I just feel...
So it's like Pinterest word form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very inspiring. It's very uplifting, at least what I've been reading on there. It's none of it is, again, with my algorithm, it hasn't been drama or... whatever, brain rot. It's been very like interesting words that people like, interesting concepts.
Okay.
Fun little, I think you'd love it.
Yeah, that sounds great. The reason I said I think is I think that I've signed up for somebody's maybe, and I feel like I looked at the app when you were saying that, like, and it kind of was not Twitter, but a little similar.
Yeah, it is similar. And I think a lot of people, I just hadn't, I don't know, I'm like, another social media, I can't. When people are like, now I have a Substack, I'm like, I don't care. But, because I have seen people promote their Substacks, like Ballerina Farm just started one.
Yeah.
I know Nara Smith has one and she'll share recipes on there and stuff. And it's just like this little hidden world where I'm like, oh, I didn't even know this was some people have like a ton of subscribers on there.
It sounds like it requires a bit more focus and attention span.
Because you're reading, yes. And to me, it just feels similar to, it is reading, but it's like, it gives me the same type of feeling as like reading a book where it's like I'm reading inspiring words. I'm, just different concepts and thoughts that people are having, book recommendations and just, good stuff.
Love that.
So I need
to check it out.
I've been I've been eating that up, devouring, trying to at least.
Can we expect a Substack from you soon?
You know, I don't think so. I was thinking.
Can it be public or do you have to pay for it? Because all the ones I've seen, like you have to pay for somebody's stuff.
No, it can be free.
Okay.
And maybe, I don't know if I don't think you have to have a paid option, but you can. Like some people will have a Substack and you can read 5 articles of theirs or blog posts kind of thing for free. And then it's like, or you can pay for my subscription to get access to all my stuff. Something like that. You know, where I'm at recently is like, because I kind of had that thought. I'm like, oh, it'd be kind of fun to write down some thoughts and like share some photos and just, it is kind of like a blog. And it was making me feel inspired. But I'm like, if I do that, I think that I would need to at least start with it just being for me and like private and not promoting it at all, because I do this where like I think something's fun and then I turn it into follow me here, and then I'm like, now I feel pressure and it's a job. That's not how I want this app to feel for me. So I don't think I'll start one. If I do, I don't think I would be like, here, read this and talk about it, unless I did it for a little while and like really loved it and was like, oh yeah, I want to share it with you guys. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh my gosh, bring back blogging.
I know.
I love blogging.
It kind of is
fun. Yeah.
Blogging. It really, that's what it felt like to me, is reading people's blog posts. And it's just a fun little app. You know, you can add photos, which you can in a blog too. So it was making me feel nostalgic and it's making me feel inspired. And one of the articles that I read was about, I actually weirdly had made a TikTok, but I didn't post it, which this is like my new thing that I do all the time. I make TikToks all the time and I just don't post any of them. I don't know why. But I was talking about how being attractive is just so much more than obviously what you look like. It's truly your energy and a mindset and like your personal hygiene and what you wear and all this stuff. It like adds to obviously the attraction of someone. And anyway, I was making this TikTok and then I saw this girl write about, literally she was like taking words out of my head that I had just said, but she was much more eloquent and she was adding a bunch of stuff that obviously was her own words that I loved. And she was just talking about how caring about yourself and like your personal hygiene and what you smell like and just what you wear every day. She was saying, she was talking about how women in France, were on the list. Tonsil stones were not on the list. My greasy hair that hadn't been washed in 7 days was also not on the list.
Yeah.
No, but it's like, I don't know. On one hand, I don't think we need to just,
but it's fun.
Be so obsessed with like, how can we be attractive? How can we look good? What should we wear? How do we glow up? It's like so exhausting. But she was basically talking about how if you are in touch with like your true style and confidence and all that stuff, you actually don't have to do a ton of maintenance. It's like you're doing less, but you're just doing it in a like you have your routines locked in. It doesn't feel
as much effort.
Yeah, maybe you're in your closet, which is kind of what I've been desiring more, even though I wear sweatsets still all the time. But I think like what I've been desiring more is, instead of throwing on like, I've talked about this a bunch, but instead of throwing on a sweat set, it's like a sweater set that's just like a little bit elevated, like nicer fabrics, and maybe wearing, instead of sneakers, maybe wearing loafers or like something slip on, whatever. That was kind of the feeling of the article. And I was like, yeah, I love that, because today I could either put on whatever, you know, I could put on sneakers and a t-shirt with these jeans, or I could put on like a button up and these slip-ons, and to me it gives more mommy.
Yes,
you know what I'm
does.
saying?
It gives mommy, Kenny mommy.
Apparently I'm
horse mommy.
Oh, literally. You're so
cute.
right.
Yeah.
Anyway, by the way, it's nothing special whatsoever in my outfit. If you're not watching.
You have to go to YouTube to find out.
I guess so.
I love that. I need to find my way on Substack. That sounds fun.
You'll love it.
Yeah, because I've really been, you know, getting desperate with no TikTok of.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on Reels though. Like that's the thing. I don't want to replace TikTok with Reels, because it's essentially the same thing. It's just a little more millennial and more shocking right now. My algorithm still hasn't quite figured out what I'm into, and that's concerning to me.
Yeah.
Like, what am I Googling? What information, what cookies are they looking at that they are giving me these Reels that are so, I think it's just data.
Okay.
I don't know.
They're like, accept these cookies, and every time I'm like, sure.
Did you know that you can just say no and keep going? The thing is I've had this thought, or I was under the assumption that you had to accept the cookies to continue on the website, and you don't. You can say I do not, and then they're like, okay, and they still let you on the website.
What is the cookie? What is the cookie?
Basically,
accessing?
that they can have what you're looking at and like your data of your what you're clicking on, things like that. I think.
Very interesting.
I think.
Okay.
Don't hold the.
Who knows?
You can Google it. Yeah, not you.
The
viewers.
listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The listeners, viewers, however you're choosing to consume this content. Well, I feel like we're just grown up because I've been reading, like you're on Substack, you're reading articles. I've been reading historical fiction and gardening. Like I'm truly just a grown woman and I love it.
Same.
It's so fun. And I'm reading The Nightingale right now.
How is it?
It's so good. And it's about a woman in France and just the things that she does. Okay, obviously I'm not getting into the whole plot, but like this is a very subplot is like she gardens and she just like when they're describing her house, I'm just like, I love this is so inspiring to me. Like this book and just this time frame and how they're talking about her and her copper sink. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
It's so fun to transport to another time in your mind. Like when you're reading, you truly feel like you're kind of living in that world for a second.
Her life is very sad, so I don't.
Yeah,
that's not necessarily inspirational, but she is very inspirational.
The setting,
yes.
I really need to read that book. I need to read both of those books. I'm still reading Ina Garten's book. It's great so far.
Barefoot Contessa, my bestie,
my bestie. Yeah,
love her.
I whenever I read a book at night, I just fall asleep so fast that I need to start reading it during the day so I can get through more of it. Yeah. I also watched the Ruby Franke documentary, which wow. I have 1,000 million thoughts on, but you haven't watched it yet.
No,
so
I need to.
We would need to wait for that. I'm also going on girls camp soon, and I think we'll probably talk about it on there. So maybe I'll just give my 2 cents on there. But
I need to watch it. The Trader Joe's cashier actually cared about my life yesterday and was talking to me. But strangely, the first thing he brought up, he's like, what are you doing later today? I'm like, well, I'm just running errands. That's like the classic question the Trader Joe's people ask you, I feel like. What's up with the rest of the day? And then he's like, I was just watching this documentary. Like, have you ever heard of Ruby Franke? I'm like, very odd conversation to bring up. Very dark, very heavy. He's like, traumatic. She just was doing the craziest things. Like he's like loading my flowers into my thing. I'm like, yeah, I've heard of that. That's so sad. And he's like, I was just watching it before this, so it's just on my mind. Meanwhile, I have my baby. I'm like,
so random for him to bring up. I feel like they usually don't bring up. Usually the Trader Joe's.
Yeah. He could not get off his mind. He needed to like unburden himself.
Yeah. It is a really crazy thing. Like I truly felt like, okay, I've consumed so much about this case. Like I don't need to watch the documentary. That was kind of my first thought because it is very just dark and heavy and insane. And so I was like, do I really even need to know more about this? Like I've read Sherry's book, but I think what got me is that the documentary was done by, or like it's the dad, so Ruby's husband, it's him and the 2 oldest kids, their point of view. Like it's them talking throughout the whole thing and narrating it. And they have, because they're doing the documentary with Hulu, they have thousands of hours of raw footage.
More of an expose than probably anything that's ever come out.
Yes, before, that's going to be the most just accurate telling content that there is because it's them putting it out and it's their actual footage of her from footage that didn't make it to the internet, basically like behind the scenes. They vlogged everything. So she's like, it's just crazy how, what's the word when it's like I guess damning, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's evidence right there in front of you. It's like you filmed your whole life. You journaled about all the horrible things you did. And it's just like all right there in the documentary. And so it was very fascinating to watch. And it's really crazy. I saw it was number 1 on Hulu. Like it's super popular. So anyway, really sad, crazy, but definitely worth the watch if you were like interested in that case at all. I think it was like I was devouring it.
Yeah. Oh my
just
gosh.
Watching it, like binging it basically, because I was like, this is crazy.
I feel like there's such good TV right now, and I'm eating up every last bit of it. I don't even have time for it because I'm into my book so much, and then I'm trying to balance it with the shows I'm watching. I haven't watched that. I need to watch that, but I'm watching Love is Blind. Have you watched it yet?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
I'm watching Traitors, obviously.
Yes.
And then Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is on. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City just finished a little bit ago. There was just so much good TV. And you know what TV show I need to watch, and I don't want any spoilers or anything, is Severance. I keep seeing people talk about it, and they're like acting like it's the best show ever.
Leif has watched all of it without me.
Really?
Because I think I remember we didn't live in this house. It must have been 2 years ago or something.
3, I think.
We maybe watched a bit of it. I was falling asleep, as I do, and he wanted to like keep watching it, so he just watched it without me. So he's watched, I think, all of those seasons.
Yeah.
But I know I do want to watch that, and you know what else I want to watch is Paradise.
Yes, I want to watch that too.
I keep hearing that's good. It looks really good.
And I've never seen The White Lotus.
Me neither.
And I need to watch all of the seasons of that as well.
Same.
Like, I feel like I have so much good TV to watch. I can't even keep up. And then I'm reading the best books. I'm like, wow, this media is so wonderful.
The content is overflowing.
Now. TikTok who?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You don't need TikTok at a time like this. I'm glad to hear that the take on Boston Rob was correct.
Yeah.
That clip was posted on TikTok, and everyone was basically confirming that he is indeed just everything. Mm-hmm. So I'm really glad that we were on the right side of history there. I really didn't know, because I hadn't seen any content about Traitors or him specifically. And then now I feel like because I talked about it and because we posted that TikTok, I've been getting all these edits of him. And I'm like, okay, so we're all obsessed. Yeah. Like, that's good to know.
Yeah. He's a girl dad.
Yes.
He's just a family man, but he's very charming.
This is such a niche detail, but did you know that all his daughters have the same middle name?
Really?
I mean, I think so.
I didn't know that.
He'll talk about them. Like, I went to his Instagram, of course, did a deep dive. Rose. I did a deep dive, had to stalk on the gram. Couldn't find his wife's Instagram, Amber. Could not find it.
She's off the grid.
Yeah, apparently. Or she blocked me. I don't know. Probably not. That's really flattering myself.
You're calling my husband daddy.
No, literally. She's like, and you've got to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like, I'm forgetting all their names, but he was like, Adelina Rose and Lucia Rose, but they all had the same. I was like, oh, I don't think I've ever heard anyone do that.
Interesting. Me neither.
So I don't know what the meaning is behind that, but I'm locked in.
Yeah.
I love him. I'm watching Traitors too.
I'm caught up?
I am caught up. Yes.
Oh, you are. Okay. So the scene that I was going to reference when you were talking about the daddy thing is with him and Sierra. Not that this was a sexual or romantic thing at all, but when he was doing the Fear Factor the challenge, and he's like, when's your birthday? And freaking out. When he started doing that, Nick and I were dying laughing. We're like, he's such a girl dad. He's just such a dad. Talking her through it, don't be, Sierra, look at me. What's your birthday?
Yeah.
All those things.
I know.
So funny.
He is everything.
That's what I saw the internet go crazy over. They're like,
really?
He was talking me through that.
I didn't see that. That's so funny. I was trying to scroll through any Traitor stuff because I didn't want to get spoilers, but now that I'm caught up, no, that's so real.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's hilarious.
That's hilarious.
Do you have anything else?
No.
We're getting into mommy confessions today. I'm so excited for this. Beth went through the stories as she always does, and she was saying that it was very comforting to her that she was reading all of these and just
very relatable.
Very relatable.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Me neither.
I have none. I'm perfect, but I feel like it'll be fun to see what you guys struggle with. I'm just kidding.
I've never had any of these thoughts, but I can't wait to hear.
Okay, I'll start.
Okay,
so this is more so an embarrassing story than confession. I wanted to be bald down there for birth just because it seemed ideal for the scenario. So I decided to book my first ever wax. I chose the full Brazilian option on a whim. Little did I know that while you're 37 weeks pregnant, there's so much blood flow to the area that everything down there is extra sensitive and painful. And that's on top of a first ever wax being the most painful in general. Oh. I get to the appointment and we do the first strip. I scream. There are tears running down my face. The esthetician goes, "Oh girl, brace yourself. That was the least painful area." Long and painful story short, I tapped out after the left side of my was entirely bald. So I gave birth with exactly half a bush. 0 out of 10. Recommend. I actually have gotten the wax pregnant. Very painful. Very painful. Way more painful than it's ever been before. I was like, not okay.
Really?
And I was very early pregnant.
I didn't get any waxes when I was pregnant. did laser hair removal leading up to, well, just in general. Like I had been doing it for a while before I got pregnant, and people would be like, oh, once you get pregnant, like it's basically like you never even got laser. Like it just grows back with a vengeance.
Oh yeah.
But that didn't happen to me.
Oh, that's nice.
I feel like it did not, it's not like I don't have hair. It's just a lot thinner. Yeah. And so it's so much easier.
Nice.
I think like, I don't know. When it's thinner, to me, it's so much more, it's just like easy to shave it. It's so much more manageable. If it's like coarse and thick, like even your armpits, because I got laser, it's so much thinner that it's like, yes, I still have hair there, but I literally do like one swipe. And you know what I mean? I'm not not, I don't know. I liked laser. I might touch up and like do some more sessions. Now, not that you asked me about my laser routine, anyone, but I'm just thinking about that because I remember thinking that I would want to get waxed, like for things like that. But because I had laser, I didn't feel the need.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a Brazilian wax in
a long time.
So long. Like it's been years for me.
I know.
But it does feel so good. Like if you're going on a tropical vacation and you get waxed. Oh.
That's when I got it for. I got it for when we went to Cabo, and it was so nice.
It really is so nice. Yeah. My friend was recently texting me about how she needs to update and just upgrade her website. And she was like, I'm thinking about using Squarespace. And I said, you definitely should, and use our code for what we said to get a little discount. So this podcast is sponsored by Squarespace, and we're so grateful it is. Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell anything from products to content to time, all in one place, all on your terms. Truly, no matter what business you have, if you own a small business, if you're a photographer, if you're a creative in any way, Squarespace is such a great platform for building a website. It's so user-friendly. You can create, they have like such beautiful templates where you can create a website that's super beautiful and looks almost more high-end than the effort you have to put in, basically. They also are introducing Design Intelligence from Squarespace. It's combining 2 decades of industry-leading design expertise with cutting-edge AI technology to unlock your strongest creative potential. Design Intelligence empowers anyone to build a beautiful, more personalized website tailored to their unique needs and craft a digital identity to use across one's entire online presence.
Squarespace Payments also makes it very easy to manage your payments in one place with Squarespace. So onboarding is fast and simple. You can get started in just a few clicks and start receiving payments right away. Plus, you can give your customers way more ways to pay with popular payment methods like Klarna, ACH Direct Debit, Apple Pay, Afterpay, ClearPay, which is so nice so that you can actually sell more. I've sold so many different things with Squarespace, whether it be appointments, physical products, digital products, you name it, and Squarespace can help you grow your business. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, squarespace.com/whatwesaid to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Again, that's squarespace.com/whatwesaid. Save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Are you looking for a partner in wedding planning? Well, look no further because The Knot is here to plan with you. So if you're planning a wedding, you already found your person. Now you can let The Knot help with everything else. The Knot will connect you to the wedding inspo, vendors, venues, and planning tools you need to make your day totally you. Watching Abby plan a wedding, I was getting flashbacks to planning my own wedding and just thinking about how much actual work it takes and thought and intention. And you really want to make it just the most magical day, but you don't want to stress about it. You don't want to be too crazy about it, but you also want to make sure that it's representing you and you as a couple. So when it comes to your wedding, you've got ideas, and The Knot has the connections to make that happen. So if you are gathering inspo, if you're scoring expert advice, The Knot will help you with all of these things. They'll connect you to all the people, places, and tools that you need.
Plus, The Knot makes it easy to keep your guests in the loop so you can focus on what really matters, which is obviously celebrating your love with the people who mean the most to you. And this may be the first time that you're putting together something this big, this visible, this meaningful. Like a wedding is a big deal, and The Knot is taking the guesswork out of it. So they have a wedding planning app. It has the most 5-star reviews. You can plan anywhere, anytime with it. It also has actionable inspiration and expert advice based on helping couples plan over 25 million real weddings. They have photos, articles, and more to help bring your vision to life. They also help you provide your guest a really great experience for your family and friends. from collecting their addresses, easy RSVPing, to provide seamless registry shopping all in one place. I'm going to a wedding very soon, and the couple used The Knot, and it like sent a virtual thing for RSVPing and for like getting info and stuff, and it was super easy to use. The Knot also has the most venues and vendors across any wedding site in any location. So let The Knot connect you to all of the people, places, and tools you need to help bring your wedding to life. Get started at theknot.com/audio. That is THEKNOT.com/audio. Let The Knot be your partner in all things wedding planning. Get started at theknot.com/audio. Again, that is THEKNOT.com/AUDIO. Check it out.
I haven't got one since. I've thought about it though.
It's like worth it after, like obviously.
It's like when I'm sitting in the waiting room to get a wax, I feel like it's my first day of school. Like I feel so nervous. Like driving there, I just have like a pit. I'm just like, please, I just want to transport to when this is over. I don't want to have to go through this.
I know. It really is actually so painful. I remember one of the last waxes I got, I was like, oh, that was like extremely painful.
Yeah.
But because they'll be like, oh, the more you do it, it's like less painful. I'm like, I fear every time it is very painful. Like I'm having to like hold my breath because I'm like, this hurts so bad.
Oh, I'm cringing thinking
when they put the wax on and they kind of like, and you know they're about to pull it and you're just like, oh, like, and there's no going back.
The heat.
Oh, it hurts so bad.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Half a bush.
Yeah.
When you're giving birth is hilarious.
Also, who are you doing that for? Like the nurse, like maybe your husband, but usually he's not down, like face down there, you know?
Yeah.
For the birth. They've seen, like no one's looking at the bush. When that's happening.
No. Okay, hi girls. My confession doesn't have as much to do with my baby as much as it has to do with my dog. I generally had no thoughts regarding how life might change as a pet parent once we brought our baby home. For reference, we have a 4-year-old cat and an 8-year-old dog. Since having our baby, who is now technically a toddler, however, life of course has changed drastically. We had to unexpectedly move when our baby was 6 months old into an apartment since that was the only place available at the time. 2nd floor, mind you. We've been here for about a year now and have another year until our lease is up. My husband and I both work full time. I'm partially remote, and our daughter does go to daycare full time, but having a dog through these vital and chaotic years, raising a kid, has been so much more than I thought it would be. The process of taking him out alone multiple times a day via leashing him, taking him down the stairs, walking him around our complex, etc., is a whole thing in and of itself. And when one of us is solo parenting, you're just not able to quickly take him out while you're watching the baby. He's getting older now, so he's been having more accidents and health concerns. Not to mention the constant guilt of not being able to play, let him run outside whenever he wants. When I was pregnant, we were renting a beautiful house from a friend with a fenced front and backyard. After my daughter was born, however, that relationship went completely sideways, hence having to find a new place to live with barely a moment's notice. All this to say, it's one of those things that we just have to handle day to day, and we love our dog to death. He's such a vital part of our family, but it is way harder than I thought it would be, juggling him as well as a toddler. Love you guys.
Yeah, that is rough. I was going to say I've lived in both, and now having a backyard,
apartments and houses,
apartment and house with a dog and a kid. And we lived in an apartment when Case was a baby with Sophie. It is like a lot. And you're just like, oh my gosh, I already have so much more to do than I ever have before. And now I have to walk you around and try to get you to go to the bathroom, make sure you get a walk a day. It's just a lot of time and it's a lot of effort. And again, you're going to do it because you love your dog, but you just don't think there's so much to do that you're just like, this is another thing that's just taking time.
I think it's overstimulation as well. Like I can't relate to the actually I can relate to having to move suddenly. That part I can relate to. But, being in an apartment, having no yard, like I imagine that makes it even 1,000 times harder.
Having a yard makes it so much easier.
Yes, it does. My gosh. But what was I just going to say? Oh, I think it's just like also the overstimulation. It's like, obviously, you committed to having this dog. You have a cat. You have it. Like, you chose that for your life. You have a baby. Like, yes, like you said, you're going to take care of them. You're going to just do it. But it doesn't mean it's not incredibly overstimulating. I think especially when you have a young baby and you are doing more than you've ever done.
And your senses are heightened too.
Yes, you have more responsibilities. Like, even when, if we've had a long day, like we've had work, we've had whatever, and I'm just picturing like sometimes, Benny will go down to sleep for the night and then Lady's like in play mode, like wants to play with us. And me and Leif just want to like lay on the couch and like hang out and watch a show. And she's like getting her toy. And I'm like, we're always just looking at each other like, okay, we chose this. Like, we love her so much, and we do. We're obsessed with her, but it doesn't mean that sometimes you're not just like, this is so overwhelming. Like, Leif will just be like, oh, great, of course, now she wants to play. And like, so again, we'll play with her for a little bit, but it is just this, like, obviously life would be easier without a dog.
No pets.
Yeah, like it would be easier.
Yes, 100%.
That's not, I don't think that's a question.
When I see somebody who is pregnant and buys a puppy.
Braver than the U.S. Marines.
I do not. Okay, maybe if it's your first pregnancy, I give you a little lenience and I'm just like, God bless you on your journey. When I see someone who's already had kids do that, I'm like, I might need to keep you at an arm's length. Like, that is something crazy to do. Really crazy. To
Having
get a puppy
is very hard.
I swear to you, having a puppy sometimes is harder than having a newborn because it's at the beginning stages. Like those first couple days and nights, at least in my
potty
experience,
training them
every 20 minutes, taking that dog out and the yelping and the whatever, like them just getting used to this new home of theirs and like trying to get them to pee on whatever, all the different things. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. This lack of sleep is. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy those first couple nights. Not long term, definitely not harder than a baby, but
in the moment.
Yes, when people are like, wait, having a puppy is really hard. I'm like, like imagine a kid. I'm like, honestly, those first couple nights are comparable to me in my experience.
Yeah, I think having a puppy is it's a lot of work if you are training them and whatever else.
It depends on the dog too.
Yeah, definitely.
I see someone get the most hyperactive dog puppy and they're pregnant with like their 5th kid. I'm like, oh my goodness, ma'am. Like you are just built different.
I was going to say, are some of us just not built the same? Because like I see certain people do things that I'm just like, I could never.
Where's that energy source?
I could never handle. Yes. Like where is your energy coming from?
Yeah.
What are you drinking, eating? Like I need to know every routine because how are you doing this?
Yeah. I don't understand.
It's mind blowing. Like, you know, they say your capacity just increases, which I do agree with. Like, you know, you have a second kid and you're like, oh gosh, how am I going to do this? And then just somehow you do because you have to. I don't know. But with certain things, I'm thinking about even Ballerina Farm, 8 kids.
Yeah.
Running a business, running a farm. Sweetie.
Yeah.
And I know she's not drinking coffee properly. Yeah. Girl.
Yeah.
What are you on that? Like, how are you able to do that?
She's on raw milk.
No, literally.
I need to get that. I need to get on that.
Raw milk and dairy. Yeah.
Seriously.
Goodness gracious.
I know. The dog thing is crazy with just kids because it is just, especially if you have a dog that you love so much first before you have kids, I feel like it's a different experience than you have kids and then you get a dog because having the dog to the kids transition is hard. It is hard. Well, for me, it was hard.
I think that I'm picturing if I got a dog now, like if I never had Lady and I got a dog now, I feel like
it would be easier.
No, harder. Like I feel like I'd be like, okay, I don't even have this attachment to you yet. And like you're being and you're so hard.
Yeah.
I feel like having Lady, it's like, okay, she was like our first baby and she holds such a special place for us because like we couldn't have a baby for a long time and so we felt like she was something that we like took care of and like we obviously just love her so much.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was honestly like, I don't know, when we had a baby we're like, this is sad because like we really love her, but like I think the further you get into it gets easier, but I'm just saying I feel like if I got a dog now I'd be like
harder to take care of.
Yes, and it was super hard. I'd be like, okay, well, I love Benny way more than this random dog that I don't even know. Yeah. So this is a lot.
I was thinking more so it's harder to have a dog before. The guilt is harder for me. Like that's exactly why I was thinking that. Like it's harder to be like, this is my baby and now I'm having another baby and now you both aren't babies actually.
Yeah.
One of you's a dog and one of you's my kid. And for that exact reason, like, oh, this dog, Sophie, has been through so much with me for years. Like, it was just me and her. And now I have a baby. And she's just like, what the heck? Like, also, I don't have as much energy to, like, take her out and literally run laps with her, you know? So her life changes and, like, she doesn't sign up for that. So it's like.
It is sad. It does bring guilt.
That's harder to me than, like, oh, the guilt of, like, I'm sorry. I'm not the owner I once was.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the young, spry pup
But neither is she.
True. You know what? And that's true.
But I agree with that. I'm validating this girl though, that I do think it is like it is very hard to, just in general, that transition with a baby. It's hard enough. You have pets on top of it. You move. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. I think sometimes depending on the dog too, to give you a little bit of solace, this is what I justify the guilt with, of not being as mentally like there all the time, because I'm not just thinking of Sophie all day. Like, whereas before I literally, that's all I had to think about was Sophie and other things. But I didn't have 2 other kids to worry about. Is I think Nick and I were saying that I think Sophie has had this new love for her new life, because we are actually treating her more like a dog than we were treating her like a human. Mm-hmm. And she is a dog. Yeah. So she likes doing dog things, and she doesn't like the things that I feel guilty about. I'm like, I can't take her to my coffee shop with me. It's like, she doesn't give a rip about that. Yeah. She's like, please let me play out. Let me lay in the sun.
Right.
Let me do my job. Let me bark at this other dog that's walking. Like, I just want to
It's almost like you're projecting, like before you're projecting, like, I need to take her here with me. And it's like, she doesn't really care where she goes.
She wants to sleep on the bed. Yeah. Like, oh, now she has her own bed with her own space. Maybe she likes that better. Actually, she probably does like having her own spot better than having us be like, you have to cuddle with me. And she's like, I don't want a pillow. I'm a dog, you know? Just certain things like that. I think she seems happier because she's just living her own because she's a dog. Mm-hmm. So I think, you can have that.
I actually agree with that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Wow. Long dog tangent.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I only on my second one? Okay.
I think so.
Hi, girls. I look forward to the pod every week, and I can't wait for this episode. Love you. Okay, so I'm 22 and currently 34 weeks pregnant with my first baby. My husband and I got NIPT blood testing done at 10 weeks to find out the gender early. He wanted a boy and I wanted a girl. We planned to have a gender reveal cake made and find out the gender together. Well, he was out of town when I got the email with the test results, and I denied myself for like 3 days, but I looked at the gender. I found out we were having a girl without my husband, and I faked being surprised when we cut into our gender reveal cake. Ooh. I feel bad, but I can never tell him. I'll take this secret to my grave. That's a big secret.
That's a big secret.
That's hard to keep in.
I don't think
there's nothing criminal.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's nothing like so wrong necessarily. I just do not think I'd be able to do that. Like, I think if I knew, to fake it is another level. Like, I would just have to be like, I looked at it. Like, I still want to do it and like have you be surprised, but like I had to look. I don't know. I do not think I could fake acting surprised like that.
No.
I'm not a good actress. So that's impressive. I don't think you're
acting.
doing anything necessarily horribly wrong.
No, definitely not.
That is so
I get that though.
funny.
If you just have the email waiting.
Literally just a click of the button. I don't know how people will do that. They'll have it in like an envelope or something, like the sonogram technician. There. Yeah, did it, and they'll just be like, "We're gonna open it in a week with our family." I'm like, a week? Wow, again, I have no patience.
Look early together and then act surprised.
Yeah, totally. Okay, I think I might hate being a stay-at-home mom. My son is the light of my life, but I just get so bored and sad being at home. Just being at home. We only have one car right now, so I can't really go anywhere during the day while my husband is at work. I live off a really busy road with really sketchy sidewalks, so I can't really go for walks. Dang. Also, it's -3 degrees right now where I live. I miss my job, crazy, because I didn't really love my job and being around adult people. I feel really guilty because I know that so many people would absolutely love to stay at home with their kids, but I just don't know if it's for me. Also, I don't do tummy time every day. She's just unburdening all of it at once.
Okay. I mean, these aren't advice, so I'm not giving you advice, but I will validate that it can make you go crazy if you're inside all day with the kids. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like for my mental health, I have to get out of the house with or without them at some point during the day, both. Mm-hmm. And same with Nick. Like we have to find ways for us to get out. Obviously, we live in a place where the weather is great, and one of the main reasons we pay so much to live here is so that we can go outside all the time and that we can be out and about. So I don't know what you would do if it was freezing and you can't really like walk outside, like how, and you don't have a car. I'm trying to brainstorm ideas for you to like get out of the house but I can't think of anything.
This is so real. And just like, I want to validate you 1,000 times. Like, it doesn't mean you don't love your son. It's not having adult time and interaction and being able to go outside is majorly detrimental.
Yes.
And Leif and I, we don't really have a yard right now, which this is not the same thing, but I've felt glimpses of this where like, at times when Leif and I have been sharing a car and he leaves or something, we don't have basically a yard right now to like, it's just like dirt and rocks. So we can't let her be out there. And I'll have moments of feeling trapped like that where I'm like, okay, I have no yard that I can't sit outside. Like I can't whatever. And I don't know. It's the most like
trapped.
You just feel trapped and like you're not living an actual life because you're like, I'm not getting any interaction. I'm not seeing the sun. Like it feels very, so again, that's my very small way of like connecting with this specific situation. I really don't have that much advice, but just don't feel guilty about that. Like that's very normal. I think as adults, we need interaction. We need time outside. Like I was just saying, sometimes when Leif is gone, in my head, I can't leave the house.
Yeah.
Even if I do have a car, I'm just like, okay, well, he's gone. So like that means I'm just home. And I was just having the realization the other day.
Like when you're with Benny and he's out.
Yes. And I was thinking, I'm like, and Leif kind of feels that way too. Like I'll be gone working or podcasting and he's just like at home and then he kind of feels trapped. And we both have been talking lately. We're like, okay, we need to just get comfortable individually bringing her places because we can't just stay at home and be at home all day, every day. It's like very draining. So, again, I do have a car.
Shops all day. If you're wondering why I'm out shopping, that is literally why. It's not to buy stuff. It's because
you just want to get
outside. It's something
to
do, walking around. Like malls are actually great. I mean, I know she doesn't have a car, so I guess that doesn't. But like just finding things to do where you can just walk around with your kids or parks or whatever is so, you just have to. Like I get so stir crazy in my house.
Same. I went with Benny, like I took her the other day to the film store because I needed film and I needed to get some stuff developed. I took her through a drive-through. Like I just did a few things and I was like, that felt so much better than just like sitting in my house. Again, I'm like rubbing in that I'm like, and I had a car
and we have
to
lots
use.
Of cars.
No, I'm just saying.
And it's 70 degrees.
Yeah, I really do get this. Like
yes.
I really understand what you're saying, and I think that
it's so valid.
It's so valid. There's no reason to feel guilty. Like nothing is permanent. Like hopefully your situation will change. It will become. The weather will get nicer, and maybe you can find some sort of solution. But just know that you're doing a great job.
You could, again, I know you didn't ask for advice, but I'm trying to think you could find, if you know someone around you who has like another mom, maybe you could just like put your stroller or get a car seat and just like put it in her car and you guys could go someplace together. Like use, use your resources,
for real.
To get out and even if it's just once a week, a little outing or something.
Also, can I just say, I think like when she's like, I miss my job, which is weird because like I didn't even like it before.
Yeah.
I think we sometimes just miss what or like it's kind of like you want what you can't have or you miss what you used to. Do you know what I mean? I think that's also a very just human thing where it's like, I can't even think of an example necessarily right now, but it's like, you're just like, oh, I want to travel. And then you start traveling and you're like, I just want a routine at home.
I miss my bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like very easy to just get caught up in that. I thought I saw this thing. It was like, I love routine until I get overwhelmed in that. Or like, wait, let me look at it because it was funny. Oh, it was like, I like routine until I'm bored. Then I like adrenaline until I'm overwhelmed. And then I like routine. Yeah. I was like, that is me.
Yes.
Like, that is the loop I find myself in where it's like, I want this. And then I do that for a long time. I'm like, I'm bored of that. Now I want this. It's just like, okay, what do you want? Like,
yeah.
Anyway, so when she was saying that, it was reminding me of that. Like, now I want to work, even though I hated my job before.
Yes. All I wanted was to be home. Yeah. I know. It's very real. There are days when I have absolutely not 1 minute to myself. And on those days, I sneak away from my family at night. My husband will be in bed and my 2 girls, ages 2 and 4 months, will be asleep. And I'll go to the living room, take a blanket with me, and just lay on the couch and binge watch TikTok or a YouTube video. This normally happens from like 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. Laying there in the dark and just pretending that I'm nobody's wife and mom is the best thing ever, not even guilty about it. I literally pretend that in that moment I own the house all by myself. And that the only person I belong to is myself. I'm screaming.
Honestly, more power to you. As you should.
So funny.
That is hilarious.
And also that is such a normal feeling of just wanting to be alone in silence at the end of the day. And you are willing to sacrifice the little sleep that you get. I find myself doing that all the time where I'm just like, I need my time to watch Love is Blind, where I know that love is not blind, but I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to watch an hour of this television because I just need time, silence, to be like, I get my Lola blanket and I get on my couch and I'm just like this. I literally smile. I'm beaming ear to ear because I'm just like, oh, this is so, I don't know. It just itches something in my brain.
It does. It's very like numbing and relaxing, but sometimes after you are overstimulated or
feels like you're finally turning off your butt, like your battery for the day.
No, it is truly the best feeling.
I own the house.
She's literally cosplaying. She's like, I'm single. I own the home alone. That was actually hilarious.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. So if you think about your favorite leaders or mentors, idols, they don't have all the answers, but they do know when to ask questions or seek support from their community. So in a society that glorifies hyper independence, it's very easy to forget that we're all better when we have a support system behind us. I know sometimes I can kind of have the mindset of I can do this all by myself. I don't need any help. It'll be better if I can just do it with myself. But honestly, whenever I reach out for help and lean on those that I trust and love and that support me and have my best interest, it helps a whole lot more. So therapy can be a good source of support for any area of your life. So it's time to shift the focus from doing it all to knowing we're better when we ask for help. I have loved and benefited from therapy so many different times in my life when I've been going through a big change or I've needed an extra guidance. That's why BetterHelp is so amazing because it's fully online. So it makes it very convenient, very affordable, and serves over 5 million people worldwide.
I know I can get very hyper independent sometimes, and therapy can help in so many different ways. It can help you with positive coping skills. It can just empower you to be the best version of yourself. And I think that it's a common misconception that therapy is there for people who have experienced extreme major trauma in their lives, but truly so many people can benefit from talking to a licensed professional. So with BetterHelp, you can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. You can also easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. So build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/whatwesaid today to get 10% off your first month. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/whatwesaid. If you are trying to get more protein into your diet and you want just an easy, delicious way to do so, you need Clean Simple Eats. We love Clean Simple Eats here at the podcast. In my household, there's a lot of consuming Clean Simple Eats products. We love their protein powder. Leif and I both have protein shakes, protein smoothies. You know, I talk about how I will just take orange juice and put like the coconut cream or the vanilla or the simply vanilla flavor of protein powder, and I'll just whisk it or, froth it together. And it is so creamy, so good. And each serving has 20 grams of protein. So it's such an easy, yummy way to get protein in. Their protein powder is always grass-fed with no seed oils, no artificial ingredients or sweeteners. It's soy-free and gluten-free. It's super creamy and smooth too. It doesn't taste chalky. They have amazing flavors. I've never tried one I didn't like. I love the chocolate brownie batter too. And I haven't made this in a while, but now that I'm talking about it, I want to go get some frozen cherries because I would make like a chocolate cherry protein shake and it is so, so good.
So in addition to their best-selling protein powders, Clean Simple Eats also has clear protein in a can. This is made with only 8 ingredients. Their clear protein is completely lactose-free, making it very easy on digestion. Each can contains 20 grams of grass-fed whey protein and only the highest quality ingredients. They also have a Clear Protein Plus energy drink, so that has also 20 grams of protein and 100 milligrams of caffeine for the perfect little pick-me-up, which is great for on the go after a workout. So if you want to go check out Clean Simple Eats, visit cleansimpleeats.com and use code WhatWeSaid10 at checkout for 10% off your order. That's cleansimpleeats.com, code WhatWeSaid10 for 10% off your order. Go check it out.
I'm so traumatized from giving birth. 2 failed epidurals, 3rd almost 4th degree tear, pushed for 2 hours, ended in a forceps delivery. I do not want to do it again, but I don't want my baby to be an only child, and I want to give my husband another chance at a son. I feel like if I were to get pregnant again, it would be for everyone else but myself, and I'm the one that would have to go through it all. Help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's being a woman, it sounds like, yeah. Where you're just like, dang, I want these things. And then you do them. Then you're like, okay, did I really, was that necessary? Like that I literally had to go through all of that. Then I have to do it again.
I wonder how old her child is. Because sometimes and I don't know being further away, so this is all I can speak to, but it's like, I feel as though when you are not far enough away from what just happened, it is very easy to be like, I'm not doing that again. Like,
yes.
I think that maybe the further you get away, you get a little bit more okay with potentially doing it again. But I also think this is such a societal thing. And I don't know. I'm kind of in my era of like, this is your body. This is your family. You don't have to just do things because you think you need to. Like, I totally understand you don't want your kid to be an only child. Like, that's very valid. I think there's a lot to consider. But sometimes I feel like people just act like having an only child is not an option. It's like, you have to have something. It's like there's a lot of people who are only children, whether they couldn't get pregnant again or they wanted to or they didn't. Like, some people don't have children by choice. They don't want to have kids. Like, there are many options for you, and it doesn't have to be like what you think it needs to be. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you don't have to figure it out right now too. I think that's a big thing that we talk about all the time, even after you get married. It's like, when are you guys having kids? And you have a kid, it's like, when's the sibling coming? It's just like, give me a second to breathe. It's like I was just saying, it's like you want this thing, you give birth, you're pregnant, whatever part is hard for you. For me, it was pregnancy. After pregnancy, I was just like, oh, and I have to do that again if I want another kid. And that was so long and so miserable. And then you just, like, in my head, I was like, I can't believe I have to do this again. And honestly, like, maybe just one. I'm good with him. I want other kids, but I don't have to worry about it right now. And you don't have to figure it out. It's like, you have time. You have plenty of time. Just be like,
well,
okay,
we don't know how old she is, but.
Well, true. I'm just saying, like, right, you don't have to get pregnant today.
Right.
You can just let time go by and enjoy your baby as he is, or what did she say?
Well, she said another chance at a son, so I'm guessing maybe she had a girl first, and she like wants her husband to be gotcha. They want to have a son, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, I think just let time pass, do its thing, because that's a very relatable feeling, and also you unfortunately will forget some things. Maybe if it's traumatic enough, you won't, but you will forget the pain. You will forget. Your brain will literally trick you, will gaslight you, and you'll be like, oh, wait, that wasn't that bad, was it? I don't even remember feeling like that, or I don't remember it being that bad.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's something about our anatomy or our biology or something that just tricks us into forgetting.
Yeah.
Until it's time to do it again.
Which is kind of comforting, because it's like, okay, it's nice that you kind of
going in blind again.
Yeah. Or, I mean, just once you're done having kids, it's like, okay, that part of my life is over. Like, it was very hard in the moment, certain parts of it, but it's over. I don't know. I think
more than anything, you're valid for feeling like that. That's an extremely normal feeling.
Yes. And I think also, if you take the pressure off, like, you might find yourself, that's where I think your true desires lie. Like, sometimes I will just say to myself, like, it is totally okay. Like, genuinely, I will be like, whatever my situation looks like, it's okay. Like, if I can't get pregnant again, if I don't want to get pregnant again, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just taking the pressure off.
Yes.
And being like, everything will be okay. So whatever happens will happen, and whatever I choose will be okay. And then to me, it gives me a little bit more power to be like, okay, maybe I would want another. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's how I feel. Maybe that's just my own personality.
Well, I also think that when you feel like you're doing something just for other people, it can exhaust you, and it can take away any rational thinking of what you actually want, because it'll make you automatically be like, I don't want this because everyone else is asking me to do it. It's like the rebel feeling of just like, okay, so I'm not even doing this for my own sake. I'm doing this for everybody else. And if you work to get rid of that, to like not do it for anybody else, it's like you were just saying, like, you can start to be like, wait, actually, I do want this, and I can do this. And if I'm doing it for myself and my family, then
you'll have a lot more motivation.
Exactly.
Quiet the noise, and I think it will.
Yeah.
I was about to like reveal your true desire. Literally
your true colors will come through.
A literal fortune cookie. Yeah. No, but I do believe that.
Yeah.
I think once you kind of quiet everything else, it's like, okay, what do I want?
Yeah.
What do I want my family to look like? It doesn't matter what society or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm going to do me.
If you don't want another kid, that's okay. And if you do want another kid, you can do it again. Like, you are so strong. You did it one time. You can do it again. It will probably, I'm saying this with no scientific evidence, but it will probably be easier by just based on people telling me how their second is versus their first. Like your first is always a little bit rough because it's your first time. So just know the second time, all of the nurses, when I was going in, they're like, this is your second time, it'll be way easier. So just know that.
Just at least know a little bit what to expect. And I was thinking
your body
about
also
that too.
has already done it. So it knows a little bit more of like, it's like muscle memory. Like, okay, we're pushing a baby out. Okay, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
But I totally understand the trauma of it and being extremely scared of it. That's extremely valid.
Yes.
So. Okay, 3 weeks postpartum, I thought I made a huge mistake having a baby. I thought there's no way I could handle this. I was sleep deprived and crying just as much, if not more, than my baby. Safe to say, 7 months later, we are absolutely thriving. She is my world. I just wish someone would have normalized those types of thoughts for me early on because I felt like such a failure for even thinking that. Love you girlies and all your mom inspo you give. Oh, that's so relatable and so real. And it is hard to admit. So even like admitting that is brave and very strong.
When you are only a few weeks in, your world is rocked. You have never in your life experienced anything like it. You've never experienced giving birth and having to heal from that. And whatever type of birth you had, it's a lot to heal from that. It's a lot too on top of that. When you're healing, sleep is really important and great to heal. And you're not getting very much sleep because you're sleep deprived. And then throw on a million other factors that there can be. And it's a lot. Like, I just feel like even if you love the newborn bubble, like I think you look back and you're like, whoa, that was kind of a whirlwind. But time does pass and things won't always be the way they are. Like I always try to remind myself that in hard moments is this is not forever. Like if your kid is having a hard time sleeping or whatever it is, or you're trying to heal and you're just keep reminding yourself like, this will not be forever.
Yeah.
One of my friends was telling me, she's like, just keep telling yourself you will feel like yourself again. There will be a day where you will feel like yourself again. And truly her saying that to me, I would like repeat that to myself. I'd be like, oh, I feel so like out of sorts. My body is, I'm trying to heal. I have this baby that's crying. Like I getting no sleep. Like Leif and I can't go and do anything that we used to do. You know, I'm talking very early on. And I just kept being like, one day
everything changes.
Yes. Like one day I'll feel like myself. One day I'll feel like myself. And I feel the same way. I feel like around that time period, like 6 or 7 months, you're like, okay, like
I can breathe.
I can breathe a little bit. I feel like I kind of have maybe a bit of a routine. Like I'm a little more used to this situation and I feel a little bit more like myself. And I think it takes even longer than that.
Yeah. And in the early stages, you're not pregnant anymore too. Like you forget that you were just pregnant for 9 months. And so you're changing. Every part of you is changing. Like you are doing something so different. This baby has relied on you solely to stay alive. And so you're just kind of coming out of that too of like, okay, I'm kind of getting my body back a little bit, but you're also doing everything. The baby is so not independent at all.
Right.
So
your life still revolves completely around them. Yeah.
So then around 6 months, I do feel like they're a little more independent and you can feel a little bit more like, okay, I don't have something on me or attached to me 24/7 or in me. And I forgot I'm a person again.
Yeah. Absolutely obsessed with the pod and you girlies. I absolutely hated my husband after giving birth both times. I don't know why. He was truly so amazing and so helpful, but looking at his face truly pissed me off. He would breathe wrong and I would be so annoyed. We're all good now, but for some reason I just absolutely hated that man and told him too. So I guess it's not really a secret.
Told him.
Please.
And that's called postpartum rage.
That is hilarious. I hated my husband.
That is so funny. Postpartum rage is also a real thing where you're just your senses are so heightened. So something amiss is just like the straw that broke the camel's back. Like it's too much. So if it's your husband, it's your husband.
I also think when you give birth and you become a mom, like you just realize that your husband or men in general will never understand. Like they can be the most amazing man in the world. They can be so helpful. They can be trying to, whatever, be there for you and it doesn't matter what they do. They don't get it. Like I kind of have felt like that about just men in general where I'm like, after I had this experience, I'm like, you will never understand.
Yeah,
like you don't get it at all. You'll never understand like your body changing like that and you being someone's soul thing and just like the thoughts that, women are always,
having to think about. And
yes, that's just, there's so much that men just won't get. And so I think that's probably what you're experiencing when you're like, you piss me off. It's like, you don't get it. Like, you're not understanding.
Your nipples, useless.
Yeah. It's just, that's hilarious.
No, I know. It's
and they're not supposed to get it. Like,
exactly.
It's not a bad thing. It's just true.
It's your journey you have to go on. And I truly believe that. And it once you kind of just accept that, like, okay, this is the time where I am going through this journey. I have to do it alone. Like this journey of motherhood. I'm not talking alone externally, but within you. Like you have to make this adjustment. And there are times you can lean on other people, but then at some points you have to be like, okay, well, this is my time to shine. This is my transformation into a butterfly.
Definitely.
And men will never get it.
They will not.
I fear I am a classic boy mom, but I hide it all inside. I wouldn't go as far as being in love with my son, 5-month-old and first baby, but I definitely feel sad when I imagine him growing up or getting married and loving another female. I would never share these feelings because I want him to be a happy, thriving adult and feel supported in his choices and future relationships, but my heart hurts. Ugh, LOL. Well, you are anonymous, so, you can say these things. I feel like without getting ripped to shreds in the comments, I do understand, like, when I see boy moms, I'm like, I see where you have not contained yourself well, because I could see where the seed is planted of like, oh, they're just so sweet. And they do say things like, Mama, I love you. Like, I want to marry you. And you're just like, oh, my little heart. And then you see these toxic mother-in-laws. You're like, I see where you've gone with this and you went down the wrong path. Like you are the Darth Vader. Like you went down the wrong path. The Force has left you.
What do you think it is? Like giving, like almost letting your own insecurities or something.
It's ego. It's like they need me, and I can see where you could start going down that path of like, no, you need me, and my sole purpose in this life depends on you needing me alone.
Right.
And if you start needing someone else or depending on someone else, then that diminishes my purpose and
your identity.
I will spiral if that happens. So you have to really be in check of like I'm sure it's with both. Like I'm sure it's with girls and boys.
I think it's normal to like.
It just gets twisted with the boys into like more of a weird thing.
I agree with that because Leif and I, we were talking about how it's just so weird that she's going to grow up one day and whatever. And Leif's like, I do not want to think about her dating anyone like that. And I go, well, you don't have to because she's not even one.
Yeah.
We were like laughing about it, but I'm like, it's very relatable to be like, oh my gosh, you're just like my precious little angel baby. I don't want to think about you. Just even growing up is like, it's just sad. It's so I think that's fine to like voice that. I agree. It's like a projection. A lot of things as a parent, you start learning your behaviors or the way you feel. It's a lot of projection of like how, whatever. Like
your identity, your ego. Yeah.
Yes, I'm always thinking about that, even being a girl mom, to, twist it in a different direction. It's like, I just don't want to project any of my insecurities onto her so that she has the same insecurities that I have, or just weird things of being like codependent. Like, I don't want her to think that like she has to always do what I want her to do or else I'm not going to be happy. Like, I just want her to live her own life and be okay with, you know what I mean? Like there's so many things that as a parent, you're just like, and a lot of it is projection, but I think like being self-aware is key.
Yeah, definitely. And you got to keep yourself
in
check and don't let it fall to the wayside.
Yeah.
Then you'll be getting written about to our podcast.
When my son was only a few weeks old, he had a blowout at the same time my coffee decided to hit. If you know, you know.
Oh, no.
I had to choose between trying to clean him up real quick or running to the bathroom. I obviously chose to take care of him first, which means I pooped my pants.
Oh, and now, okay. We listen and we don't judge. That actually is so annoying. Like a blowout at the most inconvenient time that'll push you over the edge. We're having to, heaven forbid you have like an emergency.
Yes.
And you have kids. You're just like, okay, so screw me, I guess.
Oh, totally. those are the moments when you're like, okay, so I'm not living my own life anymore. Yeah. Like I've had that too, where Leif's gone, like I have to go to the bathroom really bad, and like I'll find ways, whatever, like corral her, put her in a little seat or something right next to that. But like it's just in those moments where you're like, I have no free will anymore. Yes. It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and like scroll on my phone while I go. It's like, how do I get this done as fast as possible? Where do I put her? Like it's just
yeah.
Not the pooping of the pants. Both of you had a blowout at the same time.
Literally. I was on a solo trip with my 2 kids. Both of them had fallen asleep finally when I realized I had to pee. I knew there was no way I was stopping and waking them up, so I got creative and peed in one of their diapers in the breakdown lane. It worked like a charm, and I would do it again if I had to.
Oh, honestly, I would do that.
That's so smart.
I would 1,000% do that.
That is so smart.
That's another thing where, like, when you become a parent, you
should have tried that in my cycling class. A diaper instead.
Really? That's another thing you realize, though, is like when they fall asleep, you're like,
I'll do anything.
I will do anything. Like, I don't care.
I'm Jason Bourne.
Yes. Yeah. It's just like, I would feel the same way. It's like, oh, I'm not stopping. I'm not getting out of the car, waking them up, going to the gas station. Like, if they're both asleep, oh, I'll find a way.
Yeah.
Like, I'll have to pee on the side of the road. I don't care. That's so relatable. Like, that is hilarious. Anything for some peace of mind.
Exactly.
And some quiet. I have had 0 sex drive since my baby was born, and she's 18 months old. I've also been breastfeeding her this whole time, slowly weaning right now. Do you have any tips for getting the spark back?
I also think it's very relatable after you have kids and breastfeeding.
Specifically?
I mean, everyone's different. I don't know. I don't know the science behind that.
Yeah.
I would assume it's like has something to do with it because your hormones are affected. But there's also a lot of other factors that play into libido. And I do think that something to take care of is your libido. Like, don't just let it, be super low for a long time. I think it can be something that you, again, when you're a mom, you're just like, hey, I guess my stuff doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like your health or certain things. You're like, well, I'm pooping in my pants and peeing in a diaper. So who cares if I have sex drive? But I do think that it's something to take care of. Like, I do think that it's something to work on. And I don't know exactly how the best way for you to do that is. I would say breastfeeding adds to it personally for me. Sometimes it's just like I'm touched out. Like,
yeah,
I already got someone sucking on my boobs, like making me every couple hours like have to lift up my shirt and like whatever. So a hand on my boob is feeling very overstimulated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, I just need my own body to myself for a little bit. So it gives you less opportunities. I don't know about the actual libido hormones of it all. But yeah, that's what I would say is I don't really know how to go about that, whether it's supplements or talking to somebody, but
been that long. Like, I was going to say my first instinct is like, when you're freshly postpartum, like just give yourself a second, because when they're like, yep, 6 weeks, I'm like,
yeah, no,
girl,
honey.
did they say 6 or 8? I can't remember what it was. 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Like when my doctor cleared me, I was like, huh? Yeah. Like,
and what are you clearing me for exactly?
You really thought, like,
you thought you ate.
No. Like, I was about to make a bad joke. It's just no. Like, in that moment, I was like,
the shop is closed.
Yeah, the shop is closed, and like, I'm not ready. And you just have to kind of give yourself some time. I do think if you're feeling totally healed and it's been, it's over a year at this point, like it's something to definitely take a look into, whether it is getting your hormones tested, or I feel like there are a lot of supplements and things that can help with sex drive. I've never tried them, so I can't like personally recommend anything specific.
I feel like
it's worth looking into.
Yeah, I also think it has to do with your cycle. If your cycle is coming back with breastfeeding, sometimes your cycle, like for me, always happens like 8 or 9 months. And I feel like once my cycle comes back, my hormones even out, and I find myself going through the motions of like, oh, okay, the times of the month where I'm like ovulating, and like it's just natural like reproductive feelings of like, okay, now I'm back in my flow. But when you're not having a cycle, sometimes it's hard to know where your hormones are. And so you're just kind of feeling like, am I meant to be having a sex drive? Because it doesn't even seem like I'm ovulating. Certain things like that, it just can be a little messy if you are not having your cycle back yet. I don't really know. I'm not a doctor, so I'm just throwing out ideas.
I was just thinking also, I don't know what your relationship is like with your husband just in general, but I think sometimes you have to like work on your connection and quality time before you even have the desire. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like
for sure.
when, you know, in those early days, or when you're feeling like you're in a rat race, it's like he's gone at work, maybe you work, I don't know what the situation is, but you're just like, okay, we're never even together. Like we don't even see each other. So then why would I want to have sex with you? Like I haven't even talked to you, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, if you are feeling more connected, I think you're more likely to like want that. I don't know.
Yeah. And
That's
I think you just have to
tidbit.
communicate. Like you have to tell him how you're feeling. And I'm sure you have expressed that to him. Like, I just feel like I have really low libido. I have no sex drive. Like, let's try some things to help. Like, I want to have a high sex drive.
Yeah.
So let's try and have some more alone time. Like maybe a massage. Maybe you set up like a nice bath for me with bubbles and aroma. Like get the senses going. Because I think when you do have a baby, there's just so much physically that
and mentally.
Yes, you're just not like in the...
You're not in the constant headspace of just like
romance.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like
that's very last that you're thinking of.
Yes.
It's like, also, I think you do sometimes need that time where you're just by yourself before you even want it. So if you're not getting alone time with just you, it's hard to want to do that. Because it's like, well, I need my alone time first. Like I can't go from this to this to this. And then it feels like I'm just checking things off. Like I need alone time to connect with myself and then connect with you. So there is a bit of a laundry list to do before, but he just got to kind of get back in the swing of things.
Totally.
It is so hard though. That's very valid. I think all I'm saying is don't let it go too long for your own sake.
Yeah. It's like obviously an important part of life to keep, to prioritize.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's worth looking into, and I think all those things are good.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of things you have to take care of before you're just going to be like, basically to me, I feel like once you become a mom, you're never just going to be like in La La Land, like so just ready to go at any given moment. 'Cause you're like, I'm busy. Like I need to relax first. Like I need to focus on my own relaxation before I can get in that headspace.
Yes. One thing for me is time. If I feel like I'm on a time crunch, it's hard for me to be like, now let me relax and let my mind meditate. It's like, I need to have ample amount of time to know that like, I'm going to be able to take my time. I don't want to feel like, okay, I have to do this in 5 minutes. Like that's going to be
totally
not fun for me.
The baby's like about to wake up from a nap, but you know it's going to happen in the next 10 minutes. It's like, this is not happening right now.
Yeah. So then you're like, okay, well then I have to take a little bit more. Again, it's just time sometimes.
You know, one more thing, you know what always helps? Going on a trip. I know that's not always the answer, and I don't know your financial situation.
The Barbados Islands.
No, I'm like, you need to go to St. Bart's on a private jet. But I like just get into a different environment. Yeah. Sometimes when you're just in the same environment every day, I'm not saying that's going to cure your sex drive. I'm just saying sometimes you need to switch up the environment you're in. Even just like a quick, if you can do something, go somewhere else, get new scenery. If you have the means to. I think it could help kickstart something. Yeah. That's just an idea.
Definitely.
Okay, I think that was it for me. Do you have any more?
I secretly think my baby is the best and smartest and way more advanced than our friends' babies around the same age. I always feel like there's a little bit of competition to hit milestones first, better, etc. I know it's a little bit toxic and that everybody probably also feels the same way. I am screaming. I was actually thinking about this the other day, how like toxic it is to compare either way. Like you don't want to be caught up comparing milestones either way because you don't think it's bad when you're like, well, my baby's doing this before other people's babies are doing this. So that's fine. But if you start thinking that way, then when they're behind on something, you're going to put just as much weight into that as well. So it's better to just be like, I'm monitoring for anything extremely out of the ordinary that I need to be concerned about, or, you know, either way. And otherwise, just let them do their thing. Like,
it also probably doesn't mean much in the long run. Like, I don't know when any of my friends walked or could crawl. Like, I don't think that's a marker of like, and they're a genius.
And look at them.
Look, they crawled before
fastest
your
person
baby
in the world.
It's like, I don't think that's a You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no idea when you walked. I don't even know when I started walking. Like, what age? I don't even know that. It's like irrelevant information. I think in the moment it feels like, and obviously it's normal to like want your baby to hit normal milestones and be like, oh, if they're not doing that yet, is that bad? Like, I think that's super normal, but that's hilarious. Like, and also you do just think that your baby's like
the best.
You're just like, oh, my baby's so smart, so sweet. Like, she understands this thing. Like, it's just you are obsessed with them.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I agree with that. It's like, if you are getting caught up being like, oh, she's doing this early, then if she does something a little later, you're going to be like freaking out.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh, is there something wrong? Like, why is this person's baby doing this?
Yeah.
I don't think any of it, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe scientifically there actually is like, I was thinking if, someone's kid talks really early, is that even indicative of anything? Like, I'm just wondering if when they're 30, if that has any relevance. It's like, oh yeah, well, they've always been really smart. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just,
I have no idea. Either. I feel like you can get, I don't know. The other thing that you can do negative about that, and I'm not like trying to judge you because I feel like everybody does this. This is an extremely valid thought of like, oh, they do this, so they're just this way. Is like, you don't want to put them in a box too early. Like, I've even found myself doing that sometimes where I'm like, oh, well, he's just super smart, so he's probably going to be a rocket scientist. Like, just that's his life path. Yeah. It's like he's literally 2 months old. Like, just letting them do their thing at the pace that they want to do it at and accepting it as it goes instead of, trying to pinpoint why they're talking more or like why they're so strong or certain things like that.
No, that's true.
It is fun just to be excited about milestones, though. It's so funny when, we're going to have to stop the conversation because we can go on forever. Yeah. It's such an interesting conversation, but
it is. And
thank you for writing in your anonymous confessions regardless.
Thanks guys.
We don't judge here at the What We Said podcast.
That's right. We have a little bubble or actually I don't know if it's a highlight right now, but basically on our Instagram, we will be posting for upcoming episodes a little anonymous link that you guys can write into if you want to be a part of these types of episodes. We have a few fun ones coming up. So make sure you're following our Instagram. It's at What We Said Podcast. If you want to watch us on YouTube and see our faces, see our beautiful set, go to YouTube and you can subscribe. It's just What We Said Podcast. We love you guys so much. And that's what we said. Bye.